I didn't think our marriage would end because of other people's opinions. I always believed problems stayed between two people who shared a bed, a mortgage, and a life. I was wrong. My name is Marcus. I'm 42, and until last year, I was married to Evelyn for 11 years. Evelyn and I didn't start broken. We started steady. We weren't the loud couple or the flashy one. We were the kind that paid bills on time, planned weekends, and knew each other's coffee orders. I worked in logistics, long hours but consistent. She worked in marketing, creative, social, always surrounded by people. For a long time, that balance worked. Then her friendships changed. New coworkers, new brunches, new group chats I wasn't part of. Started small. Comments like, "You should want more," or "You've settled." I heard them indirectly at first, jokes Evelyn repeated without thinking. I didn't take it seriously. Everyone vents. Everyone exaggerates. But those words stuck. I noticed Evelyn coming home quieter, scrolling, comparing more. She started questioning things we'd never questioned before. Why we didn't travel as much. Why I wasn't more ambitious. Why our life didn't look like the ones she saw online. None of it came from her at first. It came wrapped in other people's voices. One night, after a dinner with her friends, she said, "They think I deserve better." Not angrily, not accusing, just stating it like an observation. I asked, "Do you?" She didn't answer. She just went to bed. If you've ever been in that moment, you know how loud silence can get. I replayed every version of myself, wondering where I fell short. I tried harder. I planned trips. I surprised her with flowers for no reason. I listened more, talked less, and still something shifted. It was like I was auditioning for a role I used to already have. If you've ever felt replaced by opinions instead of actions, hit like and share the story so it reaches someone who needs to hear it. The real conversation happened on a Sunday afternoon. No shouting, no tears. Evelyn sat across from me and said she felt stuck, that her friends showed her what independence looked like. That love shouldn't feel comfortable. She said she needed space to find herself. I asked if there was someone else. She said no. I believed her. The divorce was clean. Papers signed. Apartment emptied. 11 years reduced to boxes and polite texts. Her friends praised her courage. Told her she was brave. That she finally chose herself. I told myself I respected that. A month passed. I was still adjusting to eating dinner alone when my phone buzzed one evening. It was a number I didn't have saved. The message read, "Hey Marcus, it's Lily, Evelyn's friend. Can we talk?" My chest tightened. Type clarity in the comments if you've ever had someone else's choice force you to see the truth. We met for coffee the next day. Lily looked nervous, eyes darting, hands wrapped tight around her cup. She didn't waste time. She said Evelyn wasn't doing well. That freedom felt lonelier than expected. That the encouragement sounded different now that I was gone. Then she said something that changed how I saw everything. She admitted she'd been the loudest voice telling Evelyn she deserved better. That she projected her own unhappiness onto our marriage. That watching us end forced her to face her own mistakes. She apologized. Not on Evelyn's behalf. On hers. I sat there, listening, feeling something settle inside me. Not anger. Not satisfaction. Just understanding. Influence is powerful. And responsibility matters. Do you think friends should step back when they don't live your life? Or speak up no matter the cost? Share your take in the comments. When I left that cafe, I realized something important. Our divorce wasn't caused by one argument or one flaw. It was a slow erosion, fueled by outside voices and internal doubt. Evelyn didn't leave because I was terrible. She left because she listened to people who didn't have to live with the consequences. That wasn't the end of the story. It was the beginning of a different lesson. 2 weeks after that coffee, I heard a knock on my door just after 9 in the evening. I wasn't expecting anyone. I'd gotten used to quiet nights, used to the idea that nothing unexpected was coming anymore. When I opened the door, Lily was standing there, jacket half-zipped, eyes red like she'd been crying. She didn't ask to come in. She just said, "Evelyn doesn't know I'm here." That told me everything. I stepped aside anyway, not out of hope, out of closure. She stood in my living room, the same one Evelyn once decorated, and looked around like she was walking through a memory she helped destroy. Lily said Evelyn had finally admitted she felt lost, that the excitement her friends promised never showed up, that being told she deserved better felt good until she realized she didn't know what better actually meant. I listened without interrupting. Lily said Evelyn missed the stability, the partnership, the way we used to talk about real things. She asked if I'd consider talking to her. Not reconciling, just talking. I didn't answer right away. Here's the part people don't like hearing. I still cared about Evelyn. You don't erase over a decade like chalk off a board. But caring doesn't mean going backward. I told Lily that Evelyn didn't lose me because of a bad week or a rough year. She lost me because she let other people define her happiness without owning the outcome. Lily nodded. She said she'd realized something too. Watching Evelyn spiral made her question how casually she'd advised someone else's marriage. She said encouragement can become manipulation when it's driven by envy or boredom. After she left, I sat on the couch for a long time. I thought about how often people confuse "you deserve better" with "I'm not satisfied with my own life." It's easier to rewrite someone else's story than fix your own. Evelyn eventually reached out herself. A short message. No blame. No apologies either. Just, "I hope you're doing okay." I replied honestly. I said I was learning, that I wasn't angry anymore, that I wished her peace. It was the first conversation we'd had that felt real in a long time. If this story made you reflect on your own relationships, like the video and subscribe for more stories that explore real choices and real consequences. What would you have done in my place? Comment below and join the conversation. We never met again, and that was the right ending. Some chapters don't need revisions. They need acceptance. What I learned through all of this is simple but uncomfortable. Outsiders don't feel the cost of their advice. Friends don't pay the emotional bill when marriages end. The person who stays behind does. The person who walks away does too, just later. I don't blame Lily anymore, or even Evelyn. People act on the information and emotions they have at the time. But I've become cautious about whose voices I let close. Marriage isn't a group project. Love isn't a committee vote. Now, when someone tells me a friend is questioning their relationship because others say they deserve better, I ask one question. Better than what? Better than consistency? Better than loyalty? Better than someone choosing you every day? Because better is easy to say when you're not the one packing boxes. When you're not the one waking up alone. When you're not the one realizing too late that comfort was actually peace. A month after the divorce, Evelyn's friend knocked on my door. Not to fix what was broken, but to admit where it went wrong. And that mattered. Not enough to change the ending, but enough to give meaning to it. I'm not bitter. I'm clearer. I know now that relationships don't usually end in explosions. They end in conversations influenced by people who won't be there when the dust settles. And if there's one thing I hope anyone listening takes from this, it's this. Choose carefully who gets a voice in your relationship. Because advice is cheap. Consequences are not.